Hello, everyone. I am recording this final video today on March the 11th, after having just recorded a very emotional video about the difference between speaking your truth and justice activism. So I am creating this video as a gift for the tail end of my absence from the YouTube channel for my move. So I will post this for April the 15th. And the special little delightful topic that I would like to share with you is change can be easy. And I will just even show you. I'm not sure if this is going to come out backwards or not, but this is a piece of birch bark that I wrote that on for myself shortly after moving into this house where I'm renting a room. It was a temporary transition place for me. And it was difficult, both for myself and my landlady, my moving in here because although we are both loving, kind people, interestingly, there are enough differences between us that it has been quite the challenge for us to figure out how to live together. Um, Sort of like broad strokes. I'm neat and tidy, and she really enjoys being casual, relaxed, and super messy. So common areas like the kitchen became, um, for a time, an area of a battle, but we have worked it out. But I just share that in the beginning, it was really difficult for, somebody I was brought up in a Buddhist community, valuing mindfulness and, keeping your environment tidy allows you to be more mindful. Really, this was touching on values for me. So it was so challenging. And I am, as you know, I love going out into nature. So I was going out into this beautiful nature area and back, walking along the lake every day. And I'm also a big fan of birch trees and birch bark. Um, I have this connection with Sarasvati, this, wonderful Buddhist and Hindu goddess, who, has to do with communication. And my first communication talents emerged as writing. And so I loved picking up birch bark and writing things on birch bark and then, putting them in my space. So I would write something really profound and then put it in my space. Or I would do a soul art journey and put my intention and write it on the birch bark. So really have this long-standing love of birch bark. And so lo and behold, I found some birch bark that had fallen off, some birch trees back there. And I brought it back, and it was right after I had picked up the bark that, this little slogan came through my mind. Change can be easy. And I was like, hey, I think I need to write that on the birch bark. So I have had this on my desk all this time. And then I've got a little one that says the same thing in the bathroom behind the faucet. So I see it in the bathroom all the time. And the idea behind this is that I was experiencing my situation as very hard. It was a lot of change that happened very quickly. The breakdown of the relationship with my twin flame, like the deepest love relationship you can have, the breakdown of that. And it not breaking down in a small way, but in flames. It was really a difficult breakup. And then me having to suddenly move and figure out where I was moving and, finding this transition spot here to rent this room. It was just a lot of change. And so change can be easy. That was a very interesting idea to come in at that time. And having these birch bark signs posted helped me to radically shift my experience. Every time I saw it, it was like, you know, this could be easy. It doesn't have to be hard. And it allowed me to more easily just do what needed to be done. Like rather than resisting, like here's an example. I come into the kitchen and there is, maybe, a whole bunch of breadcrumbs and globs of peanut butter and jam on the countertop. Previously, my first thought was, oh my gosh, the kitchen's a mess again. I'm gonna have to, like, I can't believe how disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. Like, so all this stuff in my head. And, you know, after I started indoctrinating myself in change can be easy, I realized all I need to do is grab a cloth, clean this up, then the counter is clean and I can do what I want to do. It became a lot easier. Um, so that's just one small example. But everything, like I just noticed more and more these places that I felt were hard, and I just realized this can be easier, this can be easier. And, I also, attracted resources. I looked into, what kind of counseling resources were available in this area, and I tapped into those. And I was able to get some good counseling support for working through this big transition in my heart of the breakdown in the relationship and the sudden having to move. So I was able to work through that with that assistance. It made it a lot easier. So I wanted to share this precious, very wise tidbit of wisdom that change can be easy. And I would love to challenge you to play with it just for this week. Play with this idea that change can be easy. And, you know, even with whatever changes are happening this week in the United States, I challenge you to just play around a little bit with this notion that maybe change can be easier. Maybe you can say change can be easier. Maybe that could be a way of stepping into it rather than all the way to easy. But see what it does for you. See if it makes things open up a little bit more. This past week, I have been talking with people in the 15-minute calls, and, there's been, this constriction and this fear around these impending financial changes that Trump has been threatening around cuts in the budget to Medicare, to the programs that bring food to children in the schools, to the programs that bring money to nursing homes for the elderly, cuts to Social Security. I know, like I can feel it. I'm a sensitive person. I can feel it in these calls with you. And I have already done a healing previously for your base chakra with my black kyanite. And B, today, I want to encourage you to open to change can be easy. Like open up the box, think out of the box. I mean, maybe it's going to involve some people having to move, and maybe it's going to involve some people moving into dwellings with another family. Like, it's hard to know what changes are going to be required, but if we are open to the ways that spirit suggests certain changes, and even though they may be uncomfortable and they may break up what we thought we were going to be in forever, it would be really lovely and it would be filled with grace to be open to these messages from spirit of other ideas that we can explore that maybe can bring more ease financially and maybe even bring some families together. Like, if two families come together and share a dwelling in maybe, like a thoughtful way so that they have their own space, but they're also sharing space. Maybe they will find some unexpected benefits from sharing a house together. There may be some things that can come of that that are good for both families. So that's just an example. I encourage you to be open to how spirit might be guiding you to consider changes, even if they are really novel, like earth-shaking changes. Allow yourself the space to play around with them, to explore them. And if spirit continues to guide you and say, this could be very life affirming for you, maybe it's uncomfortable, but it'll be life affirming for you, then allow yourself to take the steps to create those changes. Because change can be easy. All right. I'm sending all my love to you. I am going to be back with you next week with live videos, and I will so look forward to reconnecting with you in this way. Sending all my love to you today for this week.